start, you're going to need a serger, and we're using a Baby Lock 1034D. And also just a regular domestic sewing machine, and this is a Singer heavy duty. And the links for these machines will be in the description. And next, you're just going to need a standard hoodie. And this hoodie right here is from Unsatisfied. And we actually teamed up with Unsatisfied for this video. And Chris Chann, who's our good friend, he started Unsatisfied. Go check him out at unsatisfied.co. And also go check out his YouTube channel at Chris Chann. He uploads awesome content. And then you'll need some ribbing. And this is just standard ribbing that is used for cuffs. The first thing you want to do is measure up the hoodie, and depending on what size you're using, we're going to go up pretty far because this is a large hoodie, and measure up probably around halfway. Then go ahead and make a line across and cut it, and we cut a little bit below our line because we want to make a little extra room for the top. And plus we're working with the logo in the middle, so we want a little bit of that logo on both sides. So we want to keep the pocket on the bottom skirt. I noticed some people like to flip it over and use the top ribbing, but for this video, we're going to show you how to utilize that pocket and have a cool pocket skirt. And this is why you're going to want to buy some ribbing. So first turn it inside out, and we're going to first start off by taking this in because it's a large hoodie and it's probably not going to fit a waist. So measure your waist, and you're going to want to divide that by 2 and then measure in equally on both sides. And this will make sure that pocket is nice and centered once you get done tailoring it. And we're making this more of a flared bottom, so we're using a French ruler to kind of curve out from the top. Once you have your measurements and you're satisfied that it's centered, go ahead and chalk it out all the way towards the bottom. And depending on how far you want to go in at the bottom, you can go right through that ribbing. And go ahead and make that same exact line on the other side. Once you have your lines made, go ahead and take it to the serger and serge all the way through those lines. And if you don't have a serger, it's totally fine. Just use the zigzag stitch on your domestic sewing machine. Zigzag allows for a stretch, so that's the reason you don't want to use a straight stitch, because if you stretch that fabric, it will snap. This is why I highly recommend using sergers for knitwear. So we're going to go ahead and add the ribbing onto the top, and this is just standard ribbing. And you want your ribbing to be shorter than the actual size of the waist because you want to stretch out and pull back in and go snug right around your hips. It acts just like an elastic band, but it's way more comfortable. So keep in mind you will be folding this over, so double the size of the actual size you want to make this. So we wanted our end ribbing to be about 1.5 inches, so we made it 3 inches long in width. And an easy way to do it is just fold it over and cut it while it's folded. And it's short enough to stretch out nice to the edges and not too short where it's going to be pulling and making it look like bacon. Grab the ribbing, place right sides together, and sew just that edge. Again, if you don't have a serger, go ahead and use a zigzag stitch. Then go ahead and take that ribbing, place the wrong sides together, and sew all the way around the top. And this is just going to keep everything aligned. And also it's going to make it easier for when you're attaching it to the bottom. Now it's an actual waistband and it's ready to go on your garment. So what you're going to do is flip your garment inside out and then place the waistband inside with both raw edges touching and right sides together, and then serge all the way around that. And you're going to want to kind of stretch it as you go because it doesn't fit perfectly, so just keep stretching it and sewing it. And again, use a zigzag if you don't have a serger. And another great thing about sergers, they just clean up those edges and they cut as they sew, and it just adds for a more professional look at the end of the project. And if you're in the market for one, we always provide links in the description for products that we recommend. And this brother right here is a great machine if you're trying to get into knitwear. And that is all you need to do to make your pocket skirt. Just take in the sides, add some ribbing on, and boom, there you have it. And now it's on to the top. So for the top, there's a lot of different options you can do. You could either add ribbing onto the bottom. We're actually going to keep it a raw edge just because we like that look a little bit more. But if you want more of a snug look, definitely add some ribbing, and you do the same way as the bottom. But we're going to flip it inside out and show you how to shorten the sleeves a little bit and also tailor the sides. So that way, if it's way too wide, you can bring it in a little bit and make it fit just a little bit better. So go ahead and try it on inside out and mark where you want to cut. And once you are satisfied with where you want to cut, go ahead and cut all the way across that sleeve. So once you have one done, all you have to do is take the other sleeve and take the part that you cut off, place it over top, flatten it out, and cut right along that bottom edge. Or if you want, you can measure it out and be super precise, but in the end, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. And we will be using the same cuffs, so all you have to do is flip it right side out and cut just above that seam and just make sure it's nice and straight. So for taking in the sides, this is actually a really nice thing to do in general. If you ever have a hoodie that's too big, all you have to do is follow that seam. So put it on inside out like this and then kind of pin up where you want it to fall. Ours, we're just gonna leave a little bit more baggy, but you can totally take it in as much as you want. It really depends on you and what look you're going for. Once you're satisfied with the fit, go ahead and take it to your serger or a zigzag and sew all the way up that side seam. And as you can see, we didn't make a mark. We're just gonna go right along the edge because this is a nice way to keep taking it in little by little, so that way you don't overdo it, because it's definitely harder to take back out. Then go ahead and repeat this process for the other side. And for putting on the cuff, it's the same as putting the ribbing on the bottom. Go ahead and put it inside, right sides together, raw edges together, and serge all the way around. And for this part, we didn't serge a cuff at the top prior to serging on the garment, just because we want to show you can do it with or without. And these can be a little tricky because you're working with a smaller area. Just pull it, keep working with it, and take your time. And by pull it, I mean just pull the webbing, and that's the cuff. So you want to pull the cuff, but not the outside fabric. And go ahead and pull it right side out, and there you go, your original cuff is attached back onto the garment. And this is a nice way to save pieces on the garment and not have to buy fabric. Then lastly, if you're doing the raw edge at the bottom, you're gonna wanna just do a little tack stitch so that way it doesn't come unsewn on those side seams. Then go ahead and do this for both of the side seams. And there you have it. You just turned a hoodie into 3 different pieces. You have your crop top, your bottom skirt, and also if you want to pull the skirt up as a top, that's also an option. It's always up to you on how you want to style it, what you want to use, your fabrics, everything. We're just trying to give you a little bit of guideline on how to sew and work with different types of fabric. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you learned a lot. Huge shout out to Chann and Unsatisfied. Be sure to go check him out. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. If you have any ideas, definitely send them our way. We'll try to make it happen for you, and we'll see you next time.